Good afternoon. There is a shocking story that was going to hit obviously surface today. Sorry, yesterday. Jacobs Ben was onto the MUFB YouTube channel and went ahead to review the budget that Man United is having for their summer spend spree. I was like, oh my god, is this real? And I tell you what, Jacobs Ben is one of the most credible journalists I've gone ahead to see. And I tell you what, he was really right about it, and I tell you, nothing was wrong about what he said. We don't have money to spend, and the budget is really very shocking. Smash the like button, comment and share. If you're only watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Varane David is my name, and hope you guys are really having fun. And it's really very disturbing that that's the budget that the club of Man United is having, and then solutions that Ineos have gone ahead obviously lay down to see to it that they obviously come up with the best plan to really not violate the financial fair play, are they called restrictions in there for you to see to it that all goes well, have also gone ahead to be put into place. And I tell you what, here we come to obviously discuss what the plan is for the club of Man United, and we are going to be waiting for your views into the comment section below about what the plan is from Ineos as far as this crisis at Man United is really concerned, because it's a very huge crisis that people might take it for granted, but it's really huge, and it's going to affect the club of Man United and the progress of the club. So let's see close to 300 likes much in this video. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And it's Varane David as my name. And let's start it up with a story coming from Jacobs Ben. The Muslims, Juma Karim, and the Christians recover all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. He said Man United have around £100 million to spend this summer before sales. The club are aware there will be multiple sales. That is it. Now, it's very worrying that we are having £100 million to spend, but it's like that because these people went ahead to obviously employ people who even work from home and don't come to the club, and they're having very many employees. They give them credit cards, and they can really cross them around anytime they want. All those are policies that Sir Jim Ratcliffe wants to stop, because he knew to it that there are very many loose ends in which money for Man United really comes to the worst use. Now, having £100 million had another cause of United buying players expensively, and you know to it that the people responsible for it were referred to it as the Manchester United tax. You know that very well. And the salaries, like a player like Anthony coming in through and earning close to £200,000, yet he has been earning £50,000, and you ask yourself, who led that negotiation? That's why they went ahead to clear all the deadwood, the negotiators, everybody who's been at the club of Man United and really doing this job has been shown the exit door by the board, by the acting board right now of Man United, because things are known as they've always gone ahead to be. And that man you see in the picture there, that is Sir Jim Ratcliffe. He is really having a very good plan to see to it that everything really goes up to plan. And hearing £100 million, that means we can only sign in only that amount of money. We can only sign 2 central defenders, because if you go for Todibo goes for £40 million. You should look in for another central defender for like £40 million and be having, or 40 or 50, and be having a balance of like £10 million. That is it. If you're looking at the caliber of players that we want, the likes of Olise, then we need to obviously find a solution to this. If you are having 100 before sales, then it's really very alarming, you know, and that calls us for us to sell very many players. And as Jacobs Ben has gone ahead to say, if we are to sell players, I tell you, there should be what we call a huge exodus at the club of Man United. And that should start from Aaron Wan-Bissaka. If we can get in like 30 million pounds, even Harry Maguire has to go then, you know. Even Harry Maguire has to go then, though it's hey, they don't want to obviously leave. They don't want to see him leave the club of Man United because he came through at Man United and had a horrible time. He's going to have to overturn it and he needs to stay at the club of Man United. But I tell you, in such a situation, Harry Maguire has to go for 30 million pounds to get in 60. Then you have Lindelof, all right? You can get in like 20, 25. Let's count 20. That is 80 million pounds. Then you have to sell Scott McTominay. I tell you, in this situation you have to sell Scott McTominay and get in like 30 million pounds. That is 110 million pounds. You have to offload players like Sancho to get in like 40, 50 million pounds to reach how much? To reach like 160. You understand? Donny van de Beek, Alvaro Fernandez is leaving the club of Man United, and Mason Mount to get in like 40 million pounds. So I think through sales we can find ourselves resurrect from this limbo that we are into. Of having only 100 million pounds to spend. We need more 200 million pounds to spend. I tell you, at the club of Man United, we should get a spending spree of 300 million pounds, and that should obviously offer us close to 6 players, 2 central defenders, you get 1 right back, a CDM, a center forward, and maybe the Olise that we've always gonna hate to be linked to on several occasions. That will be the way to go. But are we gonna sell? I tell you the answer is yes. Why am I 100% sure that we are gonna sell these players? Because we've gonna hate to say to it that we really have credible people that can really do the job. And the big question remains, what do you do to Rafael Varane? With the problems they're having at Man United, can you keep him around for a season and then sell him? Because people have always gonna hate to say Rafael Varane should leave for free because they earn a lot of money. You should ask yourself, Rafael Varane, and let me count here, 330 times 4. This is 12, right? Every month we spend 100, so we spend 1.3 million pounds on Rafael Varane. That means in 2.68 5. That means we spend 16 million pounds on Rafael Varane, you know. Now let's all admit, when you let him go on a free, you get excused of 16 million pounds per year. But ask yourself, if you really give him a contract of 2 years, he gets a reduced wage, and then you sell him next season, can't you fetch back like 20 million pounds? If I told you, can't you fetch back 16 million pounds, and you even save the other 16 that is left for the further year? So I think there is something we should think about. We need money. We have a player who is good, but he's going out on a free, that is Rafael Varane. Do you let him go and you save 16 million pounds, or you renew his contract, you know, for 1 more year? He either takes a pay cut or remains with the same amount of money. Then he plays for 1 season and you sell him. You give him 2 more years and a further option year because it's just 30 years of age. You understand? That means you're really having 2 years on the contract, and the team can get you like 20 million pounds, obviously getting Rafael Varane at the age of 31. I think you can get in 20 million pounds and you obviously save the 16 million pounds. That means you're gonna have to get in 20 to boost your summer transfer window, and then you also find yourself in a better position to compete by really saving 16 million pounds. That means instead of 16, you would have gone ahead to get in how much? 36 million pounds. For me, I think that will be better, because we won't sign in very many players, especially in the central defense. But if Rafael Varane is available and you add on Motu, if you sell Harry Maguire and Lindelof, that means you're left with Varane, Lisandro Martinez, Camboala, right? Then you add on Motu, a Todibo, and another 50 million pound player. You get that means we'll be having 5 central defenders. I think they can take us through the season, and every team is built on a very good central defense. And I think I won't be shocked if at all the first signing of Man United is going to be a central defender, but that will show us exactly what the plan of Man United is, because Varane hasn't gone ahead to obviously sign a pre-contract with any club, yet he can sign it. That shows you that there is something happening at the club of Man United, and maybe they want to keep him around on a reduced waged contract. So the best option for us to get money is to sell players. It's to sell players. We have very many players to sell. It depends on how our selling skills are really going to be. But I trust Jason Willox. I trust Joan Cloud. I trust Omar Berrada when it comes to obviously selling these players, because that's what we need. It's the only bailout that we, as the fans of Man United, as the team of Man United, have. There is nothing else we have. To bail ourselves out, we need to sell players. And if we don't sell players, then I don't know where we're going to be getting the money from. So that's the only thing we're supposed to do. And Sir Jim Ratcliffe is at center stage, and he knows exactly what to do into the mix in there for you. That's why he was talking to the man himself, the super agent, George Mendes, to obviously tell him exactly in this situation, how can you act? Because however much you might be having knowledge about people, you need to seek knowledge. In our language, we say, or in our culture, knowledge is fire. You can either get it from your neighbor, or your neighbor can get it from you. So that is it about the shocking transfer budget for the club of Man United. And now Adam Crafton came out and told us that Man United hope the cost savings relief will help them comply with the Premier League and UEFA's financial regulations, allowing for greater investment in the playing squad. The first part of the review is focused on fixed and variable costs such as suppliers, utilities, and travel. The second part later this year will look at the number of club employees, with Ineos appearing to be taking a view that United's workforce, the largest of any English football club, is bloated. Now, because the Glazers never minded about what they were doing, they ended up really employing lots of people. So they are looking at the employees, the suppliers, utilities, and travel. So they want obviously see to it that they really scrap them off and see how they reduce on the amount of money that United spends onto that. And I tell you, if it's bloated and it's the largest that any English club has, it should be worked upon immediately. We should find a solution immediately, because that is where our money is really going. I know he has already gone ahead to obviously look through the books, the financial books, and I think he did that last year. And with his people, they came in through and they already have financial solutions. And right now, however much you're talking about the board, the people, the players, the what, one of the hugest problems we've been facing is spending unnecessarily. And this guy is coming in through to obviously offer a solution to that and really put United into a shape of really spending right all the time. And that will be a very good goal for us as a side of Manchester United. And I think that's why they're going to have to come in through in the right time. You know, no more borrowing. And you ask yourself, if this found us under the Glazers, what would have gone ahead to be the plan? Because they couldn't sell players. Last season, they told him to sell Scott McTominay and Harry Maguire. A £60 million was put onto the table. And guess what? United was like, no way. You get, they wanted 40 for Scott McTominay. They would have wanted to take 30 for Harry Maguire, but Harry Maguire was like, are you going to compensate me my contract? You get? So, it shows you how these people cannot negotiate these deals and really tell the club, all right, Harry Maguire, we want him to go. Why don't you pay him that amount of money and really get us like £20 million? You get? Simple stuff. And use that 20 to add onto the little we had to obviously bring in a Todibo. You understand? So, it's really common sense that was lacking at that club and having people who know how to do these things right. But as we speak, we are having people who know exactly what to do with these things. And lastly, we've been told by the Manchester Evening News that the Premier League's profitability and sustainability rules have forced Man United to consider selling players he would prefer to keep. Victor Lindelof and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, both out of contract next year, will be allowed to leave for acceptable fees, and United are open to offers for the majority of the squad members. I tell you, that is being said, but it will need a very good implication. And there are some players that are there that can get us some huge money, like Marcus Rashford. If Rashford can be sold to City that United gets in close to 60-70 million pounds, why don't we sell him off? Sell Marcus Rashford off, sell him off, and let things flow on as well. So, it's one of the things that we're really looking at and see how things are going to pan out. But I think for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, United have never gone ahead to consider to keep him. He has been here because the Glazers have always gone ahead to fail to get Erik ten Hag another right back to compete with Dalot. Lindelof, for a player that you are not going to offer a new contract, that means you already want him out. Triggering that 1 year was like, I'm going to let him leave and sell him. He's going to be on the market, and I think we can get between 15 to 20 million pounds. And those are the players that we should sell at first. Bissaka out, Lindelof out, Harry Maguire, there are going to be very many question marks. I don't know whether they can really allow him go, but he would also have gone ahead to follow into those footsteps, I tell you. You get? Because we need a central defender that is going to keep fit, and it shouldn't be one, it should be two. You get? But we should find means of reducing that huge salary. That's why even the likes of Casemiro are being looked at, because they earn a lot of money. You know, Sancho, one of the reasons they want to move him on is because of the amount of money he earns. You get? Because you can't be earning close to 350,000 grand, 350 grand a week, you know, and you're not really playing. Look at Marcus Rashford. I want to say to it that they really do the needful and really take off Marcus Rashford of this club, because he's earning a lot and he's really delivering little. I went ahead to read the story yesterday that he's going to be meeting Dave Braceford and I think Joan Cloud to obviously have a discussion about him. You ask yourself, why are players really having discussions with people like these ones? Because this should be something that they should obviously be holding when it's an emergency. All else, they're informing him that he can leave. Is it the reason? If that's the reason, then I'll be excited. So guys, your thoughts onto the shocking summer transfer budget for Man United is really revealed, and it's really very little. What do you think we're supposed to do? You get? Other plans that in your supporting in place gonna really help us and really find ourselves doing better? All that and more into the comment section below. Rokan David remains my name. I sign out for now. See you later, and I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. The Muslims, Juma Karim. We out for now.